My daughters and I love Lego, always have, and now that they're grown up, we're putting some sets back together, getting them put away, squared away in their boxes. And I was messing around with something and I was thinking, that just might make a hell of a worm. I don't know, but I think I'm going to attempt to make a mold out of this. Keeping with the Lego theme here, I put a tiny piece of clay down to hold this thing straight up and down. Built a box for it. So we're just going to put that right over the top. And the pegs will automatically center it. And we will give that a run. I'll start mixing up some silicone and see what we can come up with here. All right, I do have it all measured out and combined. I got 20 minutes to work with it, but I do want to at least degas it first. Shoot. Let's make sure we get the bubbles out of that. Sometimes it would help if I plugged in my tools. Pop can. Clearly I should have picked a larger container, but I will be back to you once I mix this up and get these bubbles out. All right, it should be mostly bubble free, so, well, yeah, you see a few surface bubbles there, but I ain't got enough time to work with it, so running out of time on that 20-minute window. But what I could do, could be catastrophic or it could work really well. I might just put this whole Lego set in the vacuum chamber once I get it poured. And we'll see what happens. Let's see, that was a pretty good guesstimate on my part when it comes to the silicone needed. Or the, actually, it's rubber mold. Let's see how this turns out. I'm going to run it in the vacuum chamber. One of two things is going to happen. It's going to all come out the top, or it's going to seep out through the sides and cause a lot of flashing. But I will let you know. Next day, and that right there should tell you everything. Fail. If there's a fail army for bait makers, I would be on it every damn week. All right, so to humor myself, I demolded it out of the Lego, and I actually ended up with kind of half of what I was looking for. Since it was standing this way, I didn't get the full antenna effect, but everything else actually seemed like worked out okay. So I actually heated some plastic, ran it through, and I actually ended up with this. And I'm not disappointed, I gotta tell you. So I'm going to try and do it possibly as a different plastic, not a different plastic, but a different mold, a different silicone or a different rubber, and try and make a new mold. But I'm not disappointed. I will try and fish this and we'll see what I come up with, because I'm not disappointed. I'm kind of shocked. So I will go fishing with this and see what I come up with. Okay, attempt 2. I'm thinking I should have done this as a 2-sided mold, or you know what I'm saying, instead of just to pour it in, actually 2 sides with a sprue. So I rolled out some clay. I am going to press that in to the clay, the main piece here, then overlap it with the Lego box, build up some clay around it, and try a different plastic. And we'll see where we turn out with that. What do you mean you don't have an adult Play-Doh fun factory? Come on. How else are you supposed to make these cool worms? Which I did use to make venting on this. I don't know. I erred on the side of too many vents. Rather too many than not enough, right? I can always clear flashing off, so we'll see how this works. Here we are, all gift wrapped before we go full send on the silicone. I'm sure hoping that this works out. If not, oh well. It's not like it cost me a whole lot. But got the sprue in there. Got those little pilot holes for when we need to do the second piece so that they'll line up with that. And got all my little vents in there. Got everything flattened out. I have clay around the edges of the Lego, and then I pulled the tin foil up around it to wrap it in case we do have any leaks, which with my luck, that's gonna happen. But we'll see how she goes. Okay, so it's been probably about 2 hours. It's only supposed to take 30 minutes to an hour for this stuff to cure. So you are sitting on top of my big, huge syrup jug right now, if you hadn't noticed already. So this will be a win or a fail. I do like how it's already looking. A little concerned right there. Not sure what's going on there or what happened, but peel back all the layers and we'll see. And you know what? Let's do this. I'll clean up later. Okay, so this might take me a while to undo all this. So instead of having you wait, I will just fast forward for you guys once it's all done and cleaned up. Fast forward, and we are done, cleaned up. And I gotta say, so far, pretty impressed. So I think instead of cleaning that clay out, I'm gonna leave it there and I'm gonna double down on that and put some more small strips right on top of that before I pour the second part. I think that's gonna be the best move. So next up, I'm gonna have to get the box built again, put it in there right side up, put Vaseline across the box and the actual mold itself and those Lego pieces, and we'll see where we go from there. All right, here we go again. This time we are doing the second half of the pour. I have put a coating of Vaseline on all the pieces. It looks like we're going to have more than enough. And I did degas that also before I poured that. So we'll see how that turns out next. 2 hours has passed. I've taken the Lego and broken it off around the mold. And I'll be back with the razor blade. Okay, the big reveal. Not really big because I've already opened it up, cleaned it up, but in the end, here's what we're looking at. So it did show really, get this out of there, really good detail. The vents worked out. I got a little bit of clay still in there I need to clean out, but other than that, I think I'm going to try and pour this first, and then if the pour doesn't get all the way down and fill that little ball up at the end, then I'll actually try an injection. We'll see what happens. What do you mean you don't use blue painter's tape to hold together your clay or your silicone molds? What are you missing out on? I don't know, right off the bat, I don't like the feeling of that. That's, again, it's tiny mold. Maybe that's why it filled so quick, but I have a feeling it did not get all the way down to the tail. But, like I say, if that's the case, I will attempt an injection with it, and we'll see if we get any further, but let's see how this turns out first. All right, let's check out the hot mess together, see what we got. Yeah, kind of what I thought. Almost exactly like what happened with the other one. That's a worm still. Interesting. However, I'm not even going to try and reuse that plastic. I did get the round head on it though, unlike the other one. So I do like that. So it did fill out on a little, I don't know what you want to call them, they're tentacles, but, well, you know what that means. Time to really tighten this thing up and try an injection, sorry. I feel like my life is always filled with really bad ideas, and before I even do this, I got that feeling again, but hoping to not get burned or anything stupid. I'm already predicting this silicone is entirely too soft to inject into, and I should have maybe been looking at turning this more into an open pour. So if this doesn't turn out, this freaking mess that I have, I'm gonna try that and we'll see what happens. But we'll demold this first and see where we got. All right, here we go. Still very warm. I can feel it right through the mold. Hopefully set up. Holy crap. Okay. Wow, this plastic might be entirely too soft for this too. Well, you know, clean up the flashing. I can't hate that. I can't. That's different. I think if I were to play around with the razor a little bit, I could probably get that ball to show up, but you know, I really don't even need it. I mean, it's got a complete mouse tail going and everything. I guess there's only one left to do. I can't talk today. I'm going to try and fish this tomorrow. I'm going to give it a day to cure. And also the fact that it's hotter than hell again out there. So, next time you see me, I'm going to have a hook through this. Hell, I might even make up a couple other ones in some different colors. If I do, I'll show them off. But, God, that's just creepy enough that I think it's going to work. I think it's going to have a ton of action, too. Well, here's the evolution of this process. This was the first attempt using that white plastic. Second attempt pouring with the red mold. Third attempt injecting, and I never could inject it to get that ball to turn out. Fourth attempt, kind of sloppy, but that's a really tiny little thing to open pour, but that is open poured, so it does have a flat side. And then, of course, the original that we were shooting for. In all honesty, I made this video knowing that I could not do this. I knew it was going to be a fail, and I wanted to show that. Don't be discouraged by your ideas not working, because you actually learn something from them every single time. Example, I learned something new this time around too. That mold maker, that first stuff I used, turns out way shinier and better than the red stuff. The red stuff picks up more detail, but look at the shine on that. Look at the comparison there. So I did learn from it. I'm not ashamed to say I knew it was going to fail. It's just a very difficult thing to do with something this tiny. I mean, we're talking about, I mean, look at that. That's a tiny set of bricks. It's like a pinhead. I honestly knew it probably wasn't going to work. So the only thing we could do now is take these failures out and see if we can make them successes by catching a fish. You know what? Even if it's a bluegill, I don't care. I'll still consider it a success, and I learned something from it. So let's hit some water and see what happens. And we are now at the city pond, and I'm going to try this one out first. There it is, success.